A pink sunrise start to what turned out to be a pretty red hot day. Still, though, got to savor any of these summer days that we have left. They are numbered. Thank you for joining us tonight, 10. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Jennifer Meckles. With the heat wave now over, we're eyeing some changes coming up this way. For more on what we can expect heading into our weekend, we're going to take it to 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen. I feel like saying it's over is kind of silly because it's still going to be 90s.
Yeah, I mean, we could hit 90 tomorrow, but I think you could call tomorrow a break. But then we're going to be back into another bit of a heat wave with middle to upper 90s all week long. Here's what happened today. This is the box score for today. 89 in Grand Junction, 89 in Eagle, and 86 in Meeker. Had quite a bit of cloud cover and some rain across the western slope today. So huge break for firefighters there, but it was another hot day out on the eastern half of the state. 100 in Burlington, 98 in Greeley, and 99 in Pueblo. So it was another hot one for us. Here's the live radar. We're still seeing some showers out here. This is something that we have not seen very often over the last really 2 months. The town of Rangeley, which is right about here and the other side of Rio Blanco County, they could be getting their first rain since June. That's how long it's been for them. A few showers still going out here as well. This is your day in Denver tomorrow. We could briefly hit 90, but generally it's an 80s kind of day, and we'll have thunderstorms between 1 and 8 o'clock. I'll talk about those coming up in the full forecast.
Thank you, Corey. People in southwest Colorado who were forced to evacuate because of a wildfire north of the town of Bayfield, they can go back home now. The Blue Ridge fire started today, prompting evacuation orders for more than 900 homes. La Plata County officials say that fire burned roughly 25 acres. They don't have an exact number on containment at this point, but say they've nearly encircled that fire. Crews and aerial resources also working a new fire about 20 miles northeast of Meeker on White River National Forest land. The Yellow Jacket fire is now about 35 acres, and resources from the nearby Lee Fire are helping out with that one too. On the Lee Fire, a little good news. Now 31% contained tonight. That's up significantly from this time yesterday. The Lee Fire has now burned more than 133,000 acres. That makes it a mega fire, and it is now the 5th largest wildfire in Colorado's history. Progress is going on containment there, and the BLM has reopened a portion of public lands now in Rio Blanco County.
The Meeker Mustang Makeover was scheduled for next weekend at the county fairgrounds, a space that's now filled with hundreds of fire crews and their equipment, so they're going to push back that two-day event until the end of September. Trainers there will work with wild Mustangs for a couple of months and then come to the event to show off the horses' skills before they're auctioned off to new homes. Organizers say usually up to 1,000 people come into town for the event, and they hope that even with the fire outside of town, that this year that number will grow.
You know, we hope with the wildfires, we got wildfires, wild horses, and the Wild West, that it's a cocktail that brings in, you know, even more this year, because we want to share the beauty that is here and the character of the people that are still, you know, helping each other and doing whatever they can to assist.
Mustang Makeover has been rescheduled for September 26th and 27th. This year, that event will showcase 32 Mustangs. There are some students in Fort Collins who haven't had a full day of school yet in this new school year. Looks like it could stay that way for at least another week. The Poudre School District is planning for an early release all of next week due to the heat. Most PSD schools will dismiss students 2 hours early, Monday through Friday. District leaders say they'll reevaluate the forecast on Wednesday to see if things have cooled a bit. If forecasted temperatures drop below 90, then all the schools will operate on a normal schedule.
Drivers on Guanella Pass are not getting the message. Weeks after new parking restrictions started, deputies say the tickets are just piling up.
Not a great sign headed into fall when things really get crowded up there. Let's bring in 9 News reporter Ria Jai. And yeah, their busy season is still ahead, and the sheriff's office is thinking folks are not clicking with this.
Yeah, because people are ignoring these signs that are really hard to ignore. I just want to show you how big they are compared to my own body. We were there 3 weeks ago. The sign is literally my torso. I'm not the biggest person ever, but that's huge, and there's literally 30 of them. There's no fine print here.
Red means no, green means go.
3 weeks ago, I spoke with Sergeant Nick Abe at the summit of Guanella Pass, where the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office had just put up 32 giant signs telling you where you can and can't park.
I mean, either way, the signs are very large.
I caught up with him on Friday to see how things are going.
Definitely our expectations were that people would hopefully follow the signs that we put up, but apparently that is still not happening.
Some drivers are putting their own interpretation on no parking.
Since July 24th, we've already written 59 tickets. That's almost $5,200 in citations alone.
Clear Creek County Commissioner George Marlin can't believe it.
It's one thing to have a sense of the problem and just what you see when you drive by. It's another thing to see the numbers.
Last Sunday, the sheriff's office said one deputy issued 21 tickets in 3 hours. Drivers were telling deputies they thought parking was okay because other people were doing it.
Even when you have a sign every 50 feet, it can be difficult to get people to understand that we're serious about the safety on that road.
The no parking enforcement was meant to prevent a repeat of last fall, when roadside parking to check out peak season colors turned the narrow pass into a standstill, blocking emergency crews from getting through.
It is purely for public safety, and that is our main priority and always will be our main priority.
Sergeant Abe hopes drivers get the message, but until then, he says his deputies will have to parent the 22-mile pass.
Continuing to issue citations, and it's probably going to come down to towing vehicles.
How does one get down if their car is towed?
They're definitely going to have to make sure that they're aware that that's a long walk.
Wouldn't want to walk those 22 miles. So each of those tickets are $87.50. So it is good news for the county's general fund. But officials told me it isn't about the money. They are going to continue monitoring the number of tickets that are being issued. And if that number keeps going up, they are going to start thinking of other options like tolls, shuttles, or reservations. Rhea Jha, 9 News.
Thanks, Rhea. A man accused of disrupting a cross-country flight that got diverted to Grand Junction this week now faces federal charges. 47-year-old David Carver Jr. was on a Breeze Airways flight from Norfolk, Virginia to Los Angeles. This was on Wednesday. He was accused of hurling racial slurs and inappropriate sexual comments toward a black female flight attendant. Carver was also accused of injuring a flight attendant's hand trying to break free from restraints. The complaint says that Carver was served about 6 alcoholic drinks during that flight. He's charged with interference with flight crew members and attendants. The FBI and Grand Junction Police are now investigating.
The Lovelin Police Department is sharing access to its network of license plate tracking cameras with the U.S. Border Patrol. We learned that through an open records request after we found months ago that Lovelin PD had also been allowing other federal agents to run searches for ICE agents. The company behind the camera network, Flock, says this access sharing was approved by Lovelin PD despite an updated state law prohibiting local and state agencies from sharing personally identifying information for immigration enforcement. It's unclear if the Border Patrol has actually run any searches in Lovelin's system. We couldn't tell that from the records we received. This comes after we revealed that Lovelin Police gave the ATF access to their Flock cameras, and their agents conducted searches on behalf of ICE. Democratic State Senator Julie Gonzalez, who sponsored the state law, questions this info-sharing agreement.
I'd like to understand what the U.S. Border Patrol could possibly be involved in that doesn't involve immigration enforcement.
Lovelin Police declined our request for an interview on this. Again, department spokesperson said they needed more time to gather information about this sharing agreement. The Trump administration has reversed course and agreed to leave the Washington, D.C. police force under the control of the police chief. This comes after the president sent the military into the streets of the city. The decision also followed a court hearing today. In a new memo, Attorney General Pam Bondi directed the district's police to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement, notwithstanding city law. The AG's new order came after officials in D.C. sued to block President Trump's takeover of their police department. Last night, his administration escalated its intervention into the city's law enforcement by naming a federal official as the new head of the police department.
President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin came out of a nearly 3-hour meeting about the war in Ukraine. They were meeting in Alaska today, but they left after that meeting without announcing any kind of formal deal to stop Russia's war on Ukraine.
We haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal.
I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine.
Now, the White House had said there would be a news conference after the closed-door meeting, but both men walked off stage about 12 minutes later without taking any questions from all the American and Russian reporters that were in attendance. Trump hosted this summit at a military base in Alaska in a bid to try to broker a peace deal or start those conversations and stop this war that is now in year 3 in Ukraine. Trump says he will now talk with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and other leaders across Europe.